All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Gallery North's Artist Encounters. I'm your host, Kate Schwarting, Gallery North's assistant curator. I'm going to currently put everyone on mute and make sure that you're on mute unless, as soon as we get to question times, I'll call on you and unmute you. Just give us one moment as we continue to let people in and have them join. Okay, let's get started. Again, welcome everyone to another edition of Artist Encounters. Today, we're joined by artist Jim Molloy. He will be giving us a tour today of his work and his studio, and we'll be doing questions and answers. Usually we've waited until the end to do questions and answers, but by request of Jim, we're going to intersperse them into the tour. So as you come up with a question or something or a comment that you'd like to add, please just mention in the comments or the chat that's located at the bottom of your screen. There's a little chat option. You can just drop in there question or anything else. You don't have to write the entire question out, but I will unmute you and you can ask Jim the question yourself. There's also a raise hand feature under the more features at the bottom of your screen. So you can also interact with us that way. And let me just add a few more guests that we have coming in now. Okay. And with that, I'm going to unmute Jim. And let's see. Hi, Jim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, welcome everybody to the studio tour. I'm Jim. Hope everybody's feeling well and healthy. This is part of a series that Gallery North is putting on. Hopefully soon we'll be able to visit the gallery. And in the meantime, this is what we're doing. So I'm going to start with my new work, and then I'll go into my older work, and then back to the new work again. And then show you the studio and how my process goes. And that'll be it. So here we go. I'm going to turn this around. And yeah, I'm new with this. The Zoom thing. Susan, I need help. Hold on. Why am I not getting this?
Just click on yourself.
That's what I just did.
You're good. Right now you're facing the opposite direction, so we can see your wall. So if you turn it around, we should be able to see the work.
Yes.
You're good. Just turn your finger.
Just turn the camera here?
No. Just where you are. Just keep going.
Keep going. Sorry, guys. I'll be in a minute.
Just go on.
Okay, we're all in the learning process of this stuff.
Yeah, we are. Okay, I can see it. Okay, can you see the first one? There it is. Okay, this is part of a series of still lifes that I started about 6 years ago. Some blocks. I didn't want to paint a bowl of fruit, so I decided this might be kind of interesting. I found some blocks, some kids' blocks at an antique store, set them up, and that started the series. This is also a tour of my house a little bit, since the paintings are everywhere. So here's called Full Palette. You got some primary and secondary colors. Some people might have seen these at my show last year at Gallery North, called Primary Colors.
Jim, I'm just going to interrupt you for one second. I think your finger is right by the camera there.
How's that?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. Primary colors, that's the name of this. Tinker Toys, I don't know if people remember those. They still make them. Okay, gonna pan around. More of the house. Okay, some of my older work. This will be my remember these. This is a farm stand here on Long Island. Picture from Monhegan Island in Maine. I always find interesting things to use subject matter in Maine. Another crashing waves, I call this one. This one's from Long Island. Greenport Boatyard. Okay. All right, we're gonna go upstairs. Here we go.
Jim, I'm going to ask you, what prompted the change from the landscapes to the blocks? And do you still work on landscapes right now?
I am right now. Since the lockdown quarantine, I've been getting into some seascapes. I think people find solace in seascapes. I really don't know. I kind of wanted to do something different with the still life, and no other reason than that, really.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the abstract realism about it. This is an Oldfield lighthouse. People might recognize that in Long Island. The Monhegan, Maine picture. This is oil. This is oil on linen. All my paintings are oil on either canvas, linen, or masonite board.
Do you
That's
usually
home.
do your own framing, or
What's that?
do you usually do your own framing, or do you have
Yeah,
someone
I
else?
do. Actually, I do. Yeah.
Wow.
Steadfast. This I did back in 2014, I think. This holds the record for the longest time to do a painting. A lot of detail, as you can see. A lot of dry brush. Maybe if I'm getting too close here. Took me 3 weeks to paint this. And I swore I'd never do it again, and I did 2 more of the same series. I think you really get close here. You can kind of see the brush strokes. So there's that. Maybe. And then this is I have to hang a railing here. That's a scene from, I think that's Cape Cod. A couple of sailfin boats. And then this is the studio. A lot of windows, a lot of skylines. But I still use artificial lighting. There's my finger again. Yeah, I got it. You see that with glare on that? Okay, so from there, back to the new work. No explanation for this. It just is. I guess that's what art is experimental. I put this thing together and took photos for reference, and that's what I got. And then Kate, you mentioned this one when I talked to you last time. I figured I'd bring that one out.
Yes, I remember that from the Gallery North exhibition.
Yeah.
It seems like you have a lot of fun putting these together. Do you feel like a lot of a fun creative energy when you put these together? Is it similar to the energy you have when you come into the landscapes, or how does your...
It's a little different. You know, I'm doing this as a still life. So either I'm sketching it out after I put it together. It's kind of fun putting them together. But the more the creative process is taking the photos, looking for the right composition and the lighting. Colors for me are kind of secondary with this kind of thing. And then, let's see, here we go. Kind of funny, I don't know. He's wearing goggles. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? And then there's this one. You know, the light's hitting this kind of funny. Marbles. A lot of these have no names. But this one here. These are actually origami that I set up. And then this is a recent piece in the last couple of months. I kind of like this one. I don't know what it is about it. I call it the space between because I look at the negative space in here, which is kind of interesting. Here, Lego, my PB&J. I didn't name that, but I think it's a good name. Okay. This is brand new as well. Yeah, I know. Great, Kara, Hannah had a question.
Yes, I will. Let me unmute her. 1 second.
Oh, I thought you were just going to read it.
Kara?
Oh, hey, Kara.
How are you? Thank you so much for sharing your space with us. I love how you capture the light and the shadow with all of the toys. And I think that obviously the color and the primary colors is pretty important.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
And on the landscape, so you mentioned photographing even the toys, the Tinker toys, and do you also photograph the landscapes usually, I guess?
Yeah, I do. Usually photograph the landscapes. I do some plein air. I haven't done in probably a little while, but it's good to get outside with the paint, really get to see what the real landscape looks like, the colors and how the shadows really appear. But most of my work is photograph that I take, and then I use it as a reference. I use several photographs for one piece. I may take 50 photographs and then to find the right one, to find the right, the right lighting, the right, composition. That's what I'm looking for. So
really from several, you have to know how to photograph as well as.
you do, yeah. It really starts with the photograph. If everything's composed there, it makes my job a little easier. Just to take it from there, but I don't rely on it 100%.
Sure.
There are things that I have to see, including color. That's usually different. The camera lies sometimes, so
Right.
it doesn't be accurate. There's this guy called A Thing. This one. This is kind of cool.
The shadow and light is just amazing.
Thanks.
But thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for that question. We have another question coming up from Tom. Let me unmute Tom because I think it will have to do with part of your studio we're coming up to. Tom, you're on. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So, I was
Hey,
just
Tom.
wondering if when you're constructing, do you try to construct a model if it's Tinker Toys or something like that you can construct in order to, get the dimension that you want and everything to continue painting?
Do I actually put the things together before I do it?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Yes, I do. Yeah, I sit there and I play with Tinker Toys.
Okay. All right.
I put everything together that way, and then I take a photo. I'll show you the.
It's Jim.
Hey, how are you? Hello.
Okay. Diane,
How are
you're
you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So here's the photo studio.
Okay.
Yeah, basically there's a block right there. I just put that as a placement. But I'll start building things here, you know, and I'll just kind of, I model with these flash units. I also have a modeling light inside that I can use as a solid light to really get the shadows right and everything. And yeah, a couple of soft boxes. And that's how I go about doing it. That's how I construct it.
Okay.
I frame
Can I
everything out.
Follow-up question?
Sure.
Okay. So then say you're painting, you know, the block, are you trying to get it as realistic as possible, or do you take some license and, you know, try to modify it here and there?
There's always modifications. Like I said, the camera doesn't give me everything I need. So as far as color, I kind of make that up. Dark and light, you know, that has to be kind of embellished. You know, the darks can be darker or lighter. There's things that you can't see with the camera in the dark areas that I kind of take liberty in adjusting. So the reference is only so good. You know, it's pretty good. Digital cameras have gotten better over the years, but I do take I use it as a reference only. Yeah. Sometimes I'll sit here and sketch this. I have a window right here, and the light comes in. I'll sketch that out. You know, if there's something, you know, something I could do without taking a photograph.
Yeah.
The monitor, this big TV here, is actually this. Since I'm, you know, as I get older, we start losing our eyesight. It's just things. So when I take a photo, I can see it right on the screen here. And that gives me a good idea what it's going to look like. As we pan around here, there's something you don't see often. That's going to be a thing soon.
Okay.
I'm going to call these toys. I'll call them props. They're toys. So this is where I get my ideas. I kind of put things together, or I'll sketch it out first. This is kind of a relatively new series, so I'm learning. Here's a sketch.
How do you go about finding the toys that you use? Are they all from like antique stores, or do you go out looking for specific ones ever?
No, it's whatever they have, basically. Antique stores. So yeah, here's a sketch. This is actually the sketch for this piece. You see this? It's a big piece, actually. I don't know if you get the scale. This is 5 foot by 3 feet. Can anybody see that, or it's kind of small in this point? Oh, there you go. Okay, you can see it. Yeah, I'm looking at the small this thing.
We have a question from Janine. I'm going to let her ask her question. You there, Janine?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, do you use a limited palette of paints?
What happened? Hold on.
Hold on. Damn this.
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on.
Sure.
We got a connection loss.
What did he do here? Hold on. What did we do?
Just hit the X.
If I hit the X, I'm going to hang up on you. I don't know what you did. Turn your video off. Hold on.
We're getting there.
So brief intermission.
Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
Okay,
He turned the video off.
Let me just have this. You got a very sensitive phone. Okay. So I'm sorry, what was your question?
Oh, well, I had two. I just want to know if you use a limited palette of paint.
Yes, I do. I do very limited. In fact, we're going to go over here now. This is the area where I paint. I'm going to hand the phone over. Actually, you know what? I'll cruise around here, show you some of the materials. My brushes. I probably won't even use half of those. And then my palette. Let's see.
Okay.
And glass, very limited. I use Portland gray, white, yellow ochre, yellow, cadmium yellow light, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, ultramarine, sap green, and some earth tones, the burnt umber and burnt sienna. And that's That's it. I hardly stray from that palette unless I really need to. If I have something that is particular for that painting, then I'll use the same palette, even with the earth tones, for these paintings, for the bright ones.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
My second question was, when did you realize you had a passion for painting, building blocks and toys and that nature?
When?
Yeah. When did you decide that was your,
Well, it was about 5 years ago. I kind of wanted to do something different than a landscape. I kind of, and I didn't want to paint, lemons and that kind of thing. I think
Right.
everybody's done that before. So I wanted to try something new and different. And I was a technical illustrator for many years. And this kind of shows it a little bit. That there's little technical points to these paintings.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
Nice. This is something I work normally with 3 or 4 paintings at a time. This one's not quite done yet. Different layers of paint that I wait, to dry, and then I'll move on to the next one. Plus, I get bored easily, so you can see this. You can see the drawing in there. This is a very technical piece. It's taking a little bit of time, but called "Why You Were Sleeping." I named it before I even finished it. Okay, so back to the easel. I want to show a little bit of my technique. I hand the phone over here, so I'll turn it off.
I won't turn off the phone. Hold on, let me turn around here. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to my older works. This is what I've been working on, some seascapes. After I draw down, everything in pencil, I start with a wash of paint. When I do draw this in, I only look at the outlines of everything. I don't do any detail inside. I just kind of knock everything, and it helps with.
Hang on one second. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but it gets a little bit muffled. Can you move a little bit closer with the phone?
Okay, sure.
All right, I have to disconnect power. Let me see if we have enough power. Hopefully we have enough power on the phone.
So what would you miss that? So I pay more attention to the outlines of things, these rocks. I don't do any detail inside. After that's done, I put a wash of kind of the local color, the greens and the blues, a little white, and the dark color. I let that dry. This is a technique that's been used with oil paints for many years. Kind of a classical technique. We call it fat over lean paint that's thinner, and then gets progressively layered thicker paint. So that's the first step of that. I just happen to have these in different layers and different progression points. Okay. Let's draw. Then I go from there to here. This kind of shows a little bit more. So after I have the first layer down, I start to model everything out. I start to paint. And this is where the drawing is, as you can see. After this layer, I'll go in when this is dry, and I'll work on more detail. A little bit of color, a little bit darker here, more light. This is where I embellish things a little bit more. Where the light's coming from, I'll make it even more pronounced in that zone. And then the finished piece will look something like this. See that? These are all the main coast. And that's how that's done, basically. Yeah. If anybody, any of those artists that are watching, I use a mixture, a medium with gallic, mineral spirits, poppy oil, especially in the summer because it gets really warm in here. Poppy oil makes it dry very slow. Cezanne used to use poppy oil on all his paintings. And what's good about poppy oil is in the white area, as opposed to linseed oil, the whites will stay white. They won't turn yellow. Linseed oil turns these yellow over time, maybe 50 years or so. But, and then I add a little wax to dull down the velvet. cold wax it was called. That's how it works. That's how I do it. Here's my reference monitor. I take all my photographs, put them here. I've got usually 4 things that I'm working on. I have 4 images, maybe a sketch that I've scanned in. Nice thing about this, I don't really rely on too much for color either, but I get to zoom in. Instead of printing something out on a piece of paper like I used to do, I zoom in on areas that I really can't see. And it's a great addition to that. A little more high tech here in the studio. That's how you do it.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
It's so interesting. Anybody have any questions? Please let us know. You can drop us a message in the chat box. And how long, Jim, does it usually take you from start to completion with your pieces?
Okay, so this one took about 5 days. About that. Usually it's about a week. Like I said, the painting in there, steadfast, it took about 3 weeks of meticulous rendering. But for the most part, they usually take about a week. The landscapes, when I go and photograph those, that's what nature's giving me. When I do the block series, obviously I got to set everything up and then hit it with the lights and make sure everything's right the way I want. So that takes a little bit longer. Roughly about the same time, about a week.
And what got you into painting some of the main scenes? Do you spend a lot of time there? Or,
Yeah. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but we used to go up there every year, like Booth Bay and Sebastopol Harbor, is it? And Monhegan. It's great up there. I don't know, something about the light. There's plenty to paint, plenty to photograph. The lobstermen don't like to be photographed now. I don't know. They just point the camera at me.
They don't want you to know.
We don't care. So if anybody just be warned if they don't like to be photographed. Yeah, that's basically it. We used to go up there every year, and just so much up there to paint between these seascapes and this lighthouse is part of this lighthouse here. That's Booth Bay Harbor on the inside.
How has your painting been affected by the quarantine right now? Are you feeling any more or less involved with your paintings or your process?
Actually, I've been doing these three seascapes is what I've been working on. I got away from doing these still lifes a little bit. I don't know. I think to me the sea offers a little bit of solace. We live near the beach. There's a lot of cars going down there right now. People like to be near water. It seems, and I kind of felt like that's kind of what I felt right now. Probably from here, I've got some more ideas for the still lifes, but for now, I think I'm going to do this, and I don't know. That's it.
Go there and plug in.
Yeah, Cara, I just unmuted you, Cara, if you want to speak. But
oh, you let me ask my questions.
I do. Let everybody chat. Sorry.
Don't look at me. I look horrible today. No, I was just, it's funny. You asked it before I got to it. I was just wondering for all the artists out there, really, if COVID has changed any motivation or inspiration, themes of either solitude or loneliness, or better yet, hope, or, I don't know what.
It's a scary time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And,
So,
in
choice of, your choice of content or anything, or even color or, light, dark, or anything. Do you feel an influence?
Not 100%. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. It's just kind of what it is. I would think that I'd be painting more of these crazy kind of still lifes, just because it's got a little bit of tension to it. But instead, I'm doing this, and I think that's the only difference. Who knows where it goes from here? I mean, it's only been a couple of months, really. I'm in the house anyway, painting most of the time, so I really don't need to go out. But I'd like to anyway. It's a beautiful day.
I think it's
Yeah, so nothing. What's that?
I was gonna say, so far from the artists that we've heard from between our Saturdays and our Monday coffee and crit, where we kind of meet to talk about work that's being done right now, I think so far it's been about 50-50 for everyone. Of either they're finding it great because they're home all the time and they're able to just keep going and just have that extra time to get things completed, or just the total kind of upheaval of the world is affecting them and kind of causing them to either go in a different direction or just need a break from even doing a lot of the creative things that they were working on before.
Yeah, I've seen some paintings from friends on Instagram and Facebook. They paint kind of solitude, kind of people sitting in areas, and just kind of bringing some kind of message that what they're feeling. You could tell there's a feeling involved.
What's your schedule like when you work? Like, when do you go to the studio, and how long is your studio time usually?
It's usually 9 to 5. Yeah, I keep banker's hours.
Nice.
I already kept 10 to 5. But, so yeah, that's what I kind of got used to that after 18 years of doing technical illustration here, freelancing, and I just carried that over to the same thing. I wonder if I could find a technical illustration. Did I find a technical illustration? No. That's my older work. But yeah, I usually get in around then. And then there are some days when I'll do other stuff, because I don't think any artist can really push it too much as far as just creating something, being forced to create something.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little bit of time, and it takes a little bit of that inspiration. Otherwise, it'd be more illustration than anything.
Definitely. All right, we have a question from Ned. Ned,
Hey,
you're up.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for doing this. It's
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
great to see your space. When you were showing the image of that one seascape, it reminded me of Homer's work up in Maine. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the artists that have influenced your work.
Homer is one of them. Definitely. I like Cezanne's work, even though my work is a little bit different. You want to come back to this piece here? I like Andrew Wyeth. I think.
Hold on, I've got doing. Didn't want to look at me. There we go.
Andrew Wyeth, Jamie Wyeth, N.C. Wyeth. I like all their works. Hopper, obviously. So yeah, I don't. There are a lot of artists out there, but that have influenced me. But those are the main ones, Yeah. So.
All right, we have our next question is from Nancy. Let's see, Nancy, you're on.
Hi, I think
All right.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I love everything, actually. Especially that one that took 3 weeks. I think that was a sailboat, right? A sailboat, part of a sailboat. And then the white wall that was just in Maine with the anchor, I guess.
Oh, right, the plow, yes. Yep.
And the blacks reminded me, I was just looking up, I kept forgetting Audrey Flack, like the photorealism. She did a documentary, I guess it was called Queen of Hearts. And I saw it at the Parish Art. It was like one of the last like gatherings of people. It was, and then soon after, like they canceled everything. But she did like kind of like innocent subject matter, like the blocks to me felt, I used to love like blocks, just simple. And somehow I felt calm seeing those paintings, like just like a little piece of like, oh wow, it just felt like I don't know, like like
nostalgic, maybe.
yeah, like a comforting. It's
Yes.
and even just the form of because that subject is a little bit like math, is a little bit, you know that the formula is going to end up as something, you know, the answer, you know.
Right.
So it's kind of strange. I felt like I don't know if I could say peaceful, seeing the blocks, like, and the
Okay.
things that were connected. I don't know what they're called, the other objects. But then the one with the peanut butter and jelly, that's what made me sort of think of Audrey Flack with photorealism, because she would have these objects and then throw in like a unexpected thing.
Right.
And I don't know if you've ever seen that documentary, but it was pretty interesting. You'd probably like it.
I'll have to check that out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy, for that.
All. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that comment. Okay. And let's see, Ned has a follow-up question.
Okay.
You there, Ned?
Hi, sorry, yeah, I muted myself by mistake before. Jim, did you tell me that you were a member of the Tile Club?
The what club?
The Tile Club?
No.
No.
Salmagundi.
Salmagundi, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to ask?
I don't know anything
Okay,
about
all right. That was all, sorry.
Okay. Haven't been to the Salmagundi Club in a while. Hopefully get back there soon. If anybody knows of that club, it's pretty interesting. It's been around for 150 years, 70 years, 170 years, and NC Wyeth used to be part of that. A lot of realism paintings, and they're kind of all over the world, really. I got involved in a couple of shows. One of them was the 400-year anniversary of the Dutch settling Manhattan. I had to do a 7-foot painting, myself and a few other people. I went around the world in different museums, and that was fun. Because I did a depiction of Washington Square Park back in the 1800s. I should have brought that out. kind of huge.
Lauren asked, what club? The Salmagundi Club. Okay. Rhoda has another question.
I had several questions, but truthfully, it took me so long to get through with the questions. I had to think of what they were. Okay, I love that, Jim, the piece that you had over the doorway that you said was much larger than it came across to us.
Right.
Okay, that piece reminds me of the string theory in physics.
Really? Okay.
String theory, everybody comes to you with different ideas. Okay, I love that piece. And I love the origami piece.
That's actually, you know what that is
Did you have those actual pieces to paint from the origami?
Yes, I actually made those.
You made those yourself?
Yeah, the little boats. I have to admit, my wife helped me. She did a couple of them too. So when she started, she just kept going with them. It's funny.
They are beautiful. I love that piece. I love that piece.
This is actually, you know, the kids' toys when you go to the dentist office?
Yes,
yes.
That's where I saw
That's what they are, the beads with the, with the wire. That's what that is.
Yeah, it brings physics to mind also. The other thing is, I love your toys that you make. I love the compositions. The colors are exquisite, and the design, they're just beautiful. And I wanted to ask you about that technological piece that looks like a TV screen. I didn't understand exactly what you use that for. That black piece. That piece here. What do you use that for exactly?
That's for my reference material. So after I photograph, I have another computer over here, and I transfer my images, my digital images, and then I have them on the screen. It's a monitor, basically like a computer monitor or TV. And then I have the still images up there, and I use that as reference to paint by.
Okay, beautiful.
That's for
everything. Your work is beautiful. Really nice. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, we were talking about that. Was it the other day that that way instead of printing it out, you have a much higher like color consistency with the original image, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Susan bringing in my painting that I did. Oh, it's just, this thing is huge. Okay, that's it. The painting I did. Hello. I think you can see the whole thing. The 400-year anniversary of the Dutch settling in Manhattan, and this was what I came up with. I did this about, I don't know, maybe 9-10 years ago.
Wow.
And it was fun. A lot of different reference materials for this. But I went around to different museums, including in Vlissingen, Holland, in South Holland.
Then another
So-
question from
Sure.
Marcy.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing your studio today and sharing your beautiful artwork.
Thanks.
I also like to be outside painting. Just had a question. When you're outside doing plein air, do you complete the works in the field or do you come back into your studio to complete?
I try to complete as much as I can outside with the light, the way it moves so fast, but since it does move quickly, I usually have to do some adjusting in the studio, usually with the light, you know, because the paint, I mean, oil paint dries so slowly. It's nice to do the next day when it's dry and really put in some extra work, some highlights and stuff. So yeah, I do both.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And, Lauren asked whether that was your wife doing the peekaboo.
Yes, that was. That's Susan. She's she's dragging that painting around. Yep, there goes Lauren. So yeah, these are a lot stark contrast in these paintings to the landscapes. But interesting enough, I still use the same palette. So
I have a
I
question.
think go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. You briefly showed us the piece with the blocks and the water.
Yeah.
How did you go about the process for that one? Because that one kind of combines two different, sources of imagery. I would think you're
Right. Well, actually, this was almost a mistake. This painting. It's called Elementary. It was for a show. So I started painting it, and I had the water. Let me see if I can point and do this at the same time. Is that my finger? Yeah. I had the water down to here. This water here was here, and I didn't like it. It was something about it just didn't. It looked like this was kind of stuck here, and so I just took a wide brush and I just darkened it out, and it looks like a fish tank almost, right? And I thought that looked good. So then I made these blocks up on the water, and yeah, that's how that came about. That was kind of an accident the way that happened, and it doesn't spell anything. So if you try to figure that out, it doesn't. Nothing really. Yeah, that's how that works.
Have you done any other pieces like that have combined both the landscapes and the still lifes?
Have I done that? Let's see. Well, this is going to be. This piece here is going to have those stacked rocks that people do at the beach. It needed something, so I'm making this part up. Everything else was from a photograph, but this I'm making up. It kind of needed a center focus on that piece. What else have I done that's, well, there's the duck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the pool there. I might do another one of these with the ducks. It's a fascination, I guess.
Yeah, great.
Or a sickness, I don't know. Either or. So, yeah, there's
Did it say Tom has a question?
sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, it all looks fantastic. I love your work. But so when you're doing a landscape, the light is changing. How do you deal with that? Assuming you're trying to finish it on the spot.
Well, it's a plein air. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I work really small. Maybe 11 by 14 or so. And you have to work fast. That's pretty much it. You work very quick. Let me see. I should have thought of that before. Plein air piece. My plein air pieces look kind of different. They're not as as tight as these, as realistic. They're pretty loose, almost abstract. They still have, you know, realism to it. So that's pretty much it. When I go out and photograph, obviously that's something that's quickly done. But yeah, that's you know,
Okay.
basically finding the location where to paint is more of more of the exercise. You know, there's plenty of places all around. Go to Maine, everywhere I look, there's something I can paint. So that's kind of fun.
We have Holly mentioned that the blocks in the water have a surreal quality. It makes her reminds her of Magritte.
Okay.
Let's see, Janine mentioned you should have a series of duck paintings around the pool. I'm a fan of the ducks.
Yeah, did I show you that? I didn't show him this one. This, do we have enough power?
Yep.
If we do, that's good.
I think we're enough power. I'm check power.
We're gonna lose this thing.
This would be the right spot.
So, yeah, okay. There's my fit. There, okay. Showing the artist's hand. Okay, so this is another duck painting called "What the Duck." So yeah, so far this is 2 in the series. I might do another one. It's kind of funny. I don't know. No excuse.
You have a great sense of humor.
It just is.
Mm-hmm. Great sense of color and a great sense of humor.
Thanks. These are kind of interesting. These are like I was saying about the rocks that are blocked, that are stacked up.
Mm-hmm.
I did a series of these. I had 4 of them. One of them sold. And then there's something wrong with
See, I think Rhoda has another question.
No, not really, but I have to say something. I would love to play with those blocks. The colors is so great.
Yeah, come on over. I got a lot of them. It's become a sickness. I'm collecting these things.
Yeah.
And there's the ducks. I don't know where I got that blue one there. But yeah, it's
I have to say,
endless what you can do, you know. So
I have to say I've been going through my parents' attic recently and finding a lot of old children's toys, and so many of them remind me of your works.
No, yeah.
And get me so excited to like maybe keep them and use them for something, or maybe you would like them.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's so interesting to see them taken into like a new context in this kind of work.
Right.
Let's see.
I've used this little pedal car, probably from the 40s, a couple of times in some paintings. People enjoy it. People like this thing.
Let's see. Holly said the Legos and blocks share Mondrian's palette, almost maybe a
Mondrian's right.
of his Broadway Boogie Woogie.
Okay. Yeah, Mondrian, another one that I like. It's almost like a Mondrian in 3-dimension, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I like the way he just handled red, yellow, and blue, and black and white, and that was it. And that's his, you know. Do you take photographs of what? What was the question?
Let's see. Do you take photographs of the works after they are finished and before they are sold?
Yes. Yep, I take photographs of everything. I don't sign everything. I forget sometimes to sign things, which is not good. So usually I'll finish maybe 5 or 6 paintings, and then I'll sign everything before it goes out. But sometimes I do forget. And I photograph everything, and yeah. Which is another thing I know artists sometimes have a tough time photographing their work because you gotta have the right light. There's a sheen on it that you have to watch for. But a lot of times I'll take them outside and photograph them when it's like a cloudy day and it's kind of muted, and that kind of keeps the shine off of it. You get accurate colors that way too.
And just before, we've got about 10 minutes or so left. If anybody has some last minute questions, please let us know in the comments. Are you active on social media, Jim? Can we find you on like Facebook or Instagram or any of those?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Yep. And Facebook. My website,
Just Jim Molloy Artist
Jim Molloy Artist.
on
Find me
Instagram.
there. So,
All right.
yeah.
Let's see, doesn't look like we have any more questions just yet. Oh,
Okay.
Ned has another question. You're on, Ned.
Hi, Jim. I'm sorry, just wanted to do another follow-up.
That's what,
Can you talk a little bit more about just why you've stuck with the blocks and the toys for so long? I mean, you talked about how it's sort of like an experimental process, but one of the ones that you just showed seemed to be sort of like more of an abstraction of like a cityscape where are set up in certain ways. And I was just wondering if there's any any ideas that are going through your head when you're setting up the blocks just so for the composition. Are they in reference to something beyond the blocks, or is it purely formal?
it's purely just form. It's what looks good. I look at composition more than anything with these things, and there's no deeper meaning to most of it. It is a little illustration. It's fine art illustration kind of thing. After a while, though, with these blocks, it's sort of tough to come up with more ideas for things because I can only do so much with the blocks. So I started branching out with the ducks and the marbles and that kind of thing. But I'm really looking for the composition. And I'm looking, like you said, it is an abstract. It's almost abstract realism. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. And texture. Like the marbles here. It's a little bit different. Because it's, actually, you might be able to see it a little better now. There's a little sheen on the side. I just kind of branched out into that. And then the origami. So that I keep coming up with ideas, but it gets a little difficult to. You know what? I'm just going to keep pulling paintings out. There's this. Kind of fun. And then I did this one, which I call this one. What do I call this one? Colorblind. I think it's just. This is very abstract. This is just, that. And to be honest with you, with the show last year, I started running out of ideas, and I just thought anything would work, So I came up with that. There's another first kind of piece that I did. So it's just about shape, really. The positive and negative space. So, yeah.
Holly mentioned that you could probably do a book of paintings for children based on your toy paintings.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. Actually, I should do that. Oh, here's something I did. Not sure why I did this. Obviously, it's a Jackson Pollock. That was fun. I used house paint too, just like he did. And then I painted that's him as a mannequin on top. This is fun. I like Jackson Pollock's work. Very different than what I do, but when I started to drip this paint, I thought this is kind of a feeling more than anything by doing that. No particular direction, but yet somehow there is. I watched a video of how he did it, and I thought, all right, maybe I can emulate that a little bit. And I think he came out all right.
And Kellen's asking if you have any examples of your technical illustrations.
Yeah, actually, let me go over to let's go to the side again. I started doing things years ago, like I said, 18 years that I was painting, that I was doing technical illustrations. I used the ruler and that kind of thing. And then I got into 3D modeling and animation when it first came out. So I did a lot of that. Let's see if I can find. Okay, well, I did some advertising work. Can you zoom in on that? Is that all right? Can you do that?
Find it.
There's another piece. I should have brought these out before. This is an old illustration I did just for fun. It's the photograph of the. Let me go over there for a minute. Oh, here. So these are micro etch machines, but they make silicon wafers out of. This is a 3D model that I did probably more than 20 years ago. But that's the kind of work I did. This was also animated. You could go in, everything that's inside of this machine, you could do a flyby inside.
What program or medium was that done in?
I used Form Z and Electric Image. And like I said, back then, you know, they had Studio Max and programs like that too. But yeah, those are the two programs I used for that. So that's kind of the old, before this, it was pen and ink, you know, Repetograph pens and Mylar and a ruler, and it was painstaking, but it was a good business, so I enjoyed it.
Do you have a question, comment, suggestion from Holly?
Yes. Can you unmute me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Jim, I am dead serious about your pursuing the idea of creating an art book for children based on the toys, because that is addressing children in their level of awareness and knowledge and expertise. There are so many books that are out teaching children about artists, but this would be such a wonderful way to expose them, especially since the arts have been diminished in lots of public schools.
Right.
So think about it.
Yeah, I
Promise
will.
me. Promise me.
I promise, yes, I'll promise.
Okay.
I will look into that. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I'm full of good ideas.
Oh, good. Like a tabletop book kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's like you never know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's see, Joe asked if, so the technical illustration is fantastic. He asked if that was airbrush. You said it was.
No, this is a 3D modeling.
3D
This is a printout of a 3D model done in the computer. This one's hit with kind of fancy lighting right now, the purple lighting. It looks a little airbrush, but it's not. These are all wireframed, and then I put, you know, if you know how 3D modeling works, you create the image as a wireframe, and then you add texture maps to things, or in this case, it was just a metal, you know, aluminum texture map. And yeah, so that's how that worked.
Got more suggestions for you. Lauren is suggesting that you could do an online art course for kids too. Present your work to children.
Okay. I don't know if you want kids playing with oil paints. But yeah, actually I'm working on a couple of, I want to do some YouTube videos. I made one so far. Didn't publish it yet. It's kind of a timeline, like a, you know, time lapse of how my process goes from start to finish. I'm probably gonna get back into that and start publishing those.
Oh, wonderful. We'll definitely look forward to that.
Yeah.
We've got, let's see, I'm trying to find, Rhoda has a question.
Yes, I'm just curious, have you worked in other mediums or has it been oil painting from the beginning?
No, I've done gouache is a favorite of mine. It's like watercolor. Gouache is like watercolored oil. And if you know gouache, and I've tried egg temper too. That was a little more. It's kind of like
that's what Wyeth worked in, right? Didn't he?
Yeah,
work
he
in
did.
art?
You know, let me see if I can find something.
Egg tempera.
I think this was that. Maybe not. I think I did this as gouache. Oh, that was years ago. That's an illustration I did 30 years ago, maybe even
Great.
longer.
Great.
So
Yeah.
a little background illustration helps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine who I knew a couple of illustrators, Bob Larkin and Bill Dula. Bob used to do work for Marvel, and he gave me some pointers here and there, and he's good. He's a good illustrator. So I've kind of been interested in this for a long time. The fine art, I would say I've been doing the paintings for 15 years, maybe, not even, 10, about that. Yeah.
All right, we're just about out of time.
Okay.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Jim, for giving us this tour and showing us your work and letting us hear about your process. It's really a nice treat for everyone today.
Cool.
I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to check out all of our past artist encounters and future ones. There are a whole bunch of them that will be loaded on there soon. So if you subscribe now, you'll get notification when they're all up, and you can binge watch all of your favorite local artists and learn about their process. And I also want to encourage everyone to become a member of Gallery North and help support free virtual events like this. And you'll also get lots of nice membership benefits, discounts in our shop on classes, free entrance to certain exhibitions if you join at an artist level. Lots of things you can check out in regard to that, and that's on our website, gallerynorth.org. Don't forget, on Monday we have a coffee and crit coming up. If you're an artist and want to get together with other like-minded local artists and share what you're working on, please feel free to join at 4 o'clock. And on Thursday, we have our first artist roundtable event, and it will be based on promoting your work online. So we'll be focusing on that topic. You can send us your questions in advance, or you can ask our panel of artists and other professionals at the event itself. It'll be hosted on Zoom as well, and you can find out more information on our website about that as well. And next week, we will be featuring artist Linda Lewis at the same time, 4 o'clock. So we hope to see you all again then. And thank you again, Jim. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Everybody stay well.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you again for watching this episode of Gallery North's Virtual Artist Encounters. If you like events like this, please check out our website where you'll find a list of our upcoming programs and events. Please also consider becoming a member of Gallery North. We have a number of different levels and options to select from, with different benefits to fit your interests. Please also like and subscribe to us here on YouTube to get updates about our upcoming and published videos.